All right, guys. This lesson's on the correlation coefficient and a little more practice of linear regression. All right. It's important that you read over these notes, all right, and understand what they are. The correlation coefficient is always going to be between -1 and 1. All right. It'll never be less than -1, and it'll never be greater than 1. So if you see those kinds of numbers referring to the correlation coefficient, those are wrong answers. The closer this correlation coefficient R is to 1, the stronger the positive correlation. The closer it is to -1, the stronger the negative correlation. And the closer it is to 0, the weaker the correlation. So I'm going to kind of put this on a number line to kind of show you what it would look like. All right? If you're at +1, if that's your correlation coefficient, that's a perfect positive. Okay? And if you're at -1, that's a perfect negative. Now, if I were to split this up into pieces, if you're at 0.5, that would be moderate. That would be a moderate positive correlation. If you're at -0.5, right, because it's halfway between 0 and -1, that would be a moderate negative correlation, right? 0.5 is halfway between. If you're somewhere between 0 and 0.5, you're weak. That's a weak correlation. So let's say that was 0.25 would be weak, 0.3 would be weak. All right, if you're at 0.75 or higher, that would be strong. Okay? If you're at -0.25, that would be weak. -0.75 would be strong. All right? Because you're going to see multiple choice questions that are going to ask, based on this R value, is it weak, strong, weak negative, strong positive, whatever it might be. So let's look at some questions. They're really very easy. This talks about a study that compares education to the person's salary, how much education. They go on to say that the correlation coefficient was 0.91. That's really close to 1, so that's a strong relationship, all right? If they wanted you to be more specific, it would be a strong positive correlation. All right? These are real quick multiple choice questions. Number 2, analysis of data from the study shows that the correlation coefficient is -0.525. All right? -0.5 is halfway between 0 and -1, so that's moderate. So strong positive, that's wrong. Strong negative, that would need to be -0.9 or -0.8. All right, moderate positive. Finally, moderate negative. That's the right answer. All right? Why don't you look at number 3, pause the video, try to answer number 3. It says, what does the correlation coefficient, -0.975, indicate? Is it weak negative, strong negative, no correlation, or strong positive correlation? All right. This number is really close to -1. So that's a strong negative correlation. And that means that the line would go down. And all the points on the line would be close to each other. All right? All right. Number 4. The results of a linear regression are shown below. Which phrase best describes the relationship? And when you see that, that means correlation between X and Y. So you look at the R value. Okay? So this is the only number that we're interested in. out of all this stuff they gave us. So negative 0.89. That's really close to negative 1. So that would be strong negative correlation. All right? All right, I'm going to have you work on this, but I think it's self-explanatory. But like if you're looking at number 5, when you go to do this question, keep in mind that the points are going upwards, right? If the points are going up, that's a positive correlation. If the points are going down, that would be negative, right? So try the rest of these questions, and I'm going to post the solutions, all right? There is one more regression question. That's question number 9. So that's where you got to input all the data, right? Make the high temperature the X and the sales the Y, right? This is when you got to use your stat button, right? You're going to edit, put all the data in, and then you're going to go stat calculate, calculate the line of best fit, the linear regression function. All right, try these out, and I'm going to post answers later today.